Welcome everybody to the recap show of Let's Talk About It. And we're talking to my former guest, Kimberly Kenner. She was episode 3, Still I Rise, about her amazing journey, about how way she overcame sexual abuse, bad relationships, to the queen she is today. It's a recap show, basically like going over after the facts, after the interview, how she felt during it, how she felt after it, and we go play a little game with her at the end too. So I'm bringing back my episode 3 guest, Kimberly Kenner. How are you, Kim?
I'm good. How are you? I'm excellent.
I'm doing good. I love the background, girl.
That's my dream spot today. In real life, it's winter and gray outside and ugly. So I'm like, nope, we're not doing that today.
No, you're
So
not doing it today. No, not
no,
today. No,
not today.
not today. Okay, okay.
No gloomy, no gloom, no doom, no gloom.
No gloom, no doom. Okay. You was my episode 3 guest. You had an amazing story. I'm so glad you shared it. I can tell you first and foremost, a lot of people were amazed by your story. They were inspired by your story. I must have had how many I have? I think 13 people came out and said they've no 13, 14, sorry, 14. 14 people have related to your story. I mean, like that's my first question. How you feel about that? The 14 people actually they listened to your story and they had like stuff like that happen to them.
You know, maybe because you might be able to relate to this. When you share your story, it was more about unburdening the secret for me. It
Mm-hmm.
was more like that. So I wasn't really thinking about how it might affect other people. And that that huge weight off my shoulders. So when I saw some of the comments and the reaction, I was like, wow. But I did say that if I could just talk to one person, like just one person can hear what I went through
Yeah.
and they feel, I'm not alone in what they have to go through, then I feel like there's I don't know, not a brotherhood or a sisterhood or, like we're kin now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we're it makes me feel grateful. That's
See, I
that's
love
the
that.
that's the best word I can think of how to describe what I felt is great gratitude. Like wow, because that's what inspired me was hearing somebody else talk
Yeah.
before. Yep.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm gonna follow up that right there. Now, when I asked you to come on, how did you feel about coming on? Like, before you came on, like, what was that feeling before you decided to tell that story?
I had mixed feelings to be honest. I was nervous, not about talking to you, but about what because there's a sense of shame involved in this whole process that I still haven't shed that. I still haven't shed the shame part. Like something was wrong or I did something wrong. That's a real feeling to deal with, right? The
Yeah.
second thing was like, you know what? I'm like a champion, with my gloves on, I got this, I'm doing this. So I had that feeling too. Like, no, I'm not letting that, I'm not gonna let all the negative voices in my head tell me no. I'm doing this, I'm doing it, I'm ready, I'm doing it. So I was like dealing with both of those feelings. So a little bit of excitement and then a little bit of trepidation, like, ooh, no, we don't want to do this. Yeah, we do. No, we don't. But I'm ready to do this one out. Let's do it. Let's just get it out there. Let's talk about it. That's your show, right? So let's just get it out there. Let's just it happened to me. I survived it and I'm doing better,
Mhm.
so much better because of that. So I'm glad I did. I'm so glad I did it.
See, I love that. I love that.
I feel this huge burden has been lifted off my shoulders.
Okay. All
Um,
right.
yep.
All right. So when it was over, after we hit the stop button, and after we got off the air, like describe to me how you felt after that, after you let it all out.
Like this. Like I could breathe. Like, oh man, I could breathe now. Like no, now there's no stopping it. I let it out. I felt excited in a weird kind of way, like, wow, I did it. I did it. I did it. Like I'm proud of myself. Like I did it. I spoke up. I was so proud of myself. I can't even. I know it sounds weird, but I was like, "Yay! You know what? You're not." And like I feel like I conquered something. Like I climbed a hill, and I can't climb a hill right now to save my life, but I felt that way. That's how I felt. You know, like Rocky gets to the top of the stairs. You know, that's exactly how I felt. Like I was, I was proud of me.
Right. You know what? When 14 people reached out to me about them surviving sexual abuse, it was so unreal for me just to, take that in. And like, I think like four of them said once they heard your show, that was the first that when they contacted me, they actually DM'd me. That was the first time they ever acknowledged it. Ever. Ever. And there was one woman, I'm not gonna say the names. She is 64, and it happened multiple times. And she DM'd me, and she was like Lou, I'm telling you, I felt Kim. I felt everything she was saying. And this is going on 50 years. Over 50 years, she never said a word. It's because of you, your braveness. It got her to like actually just bring it out. Now she's going to counseling. Now, right now at 64. So I'm so proud. I mean, like, how you? I mean, when I say that to you, how does that make you feel right now? After 50 years, she kept that in. She heard your story, and now she's finally going to see counseling.
I'm proud of her, and I want to go hug her. I want to tell her everything's gonna be all right, and that it's never too late for any of us. It's not too late to do what we need to do to have a good life, to feel good about our life, to finally have the things that we feel that kept us from doing what we wanted because we were embarrassed or hurt
Yeah.
from the trauma that we had to survive, and that the trauma doesn't define us. So when I hear you say that about her, I'm like, yeah,
Right.
way to go, man. Because if she's ready to finally say that, then I did something right. Then I feel justified that I did, because I was not sure speaking out loud was the right thing to do. I had
Yeah.
some people tell me that I shouldn't have done it.
Mhm.
So there are people that were like, you shouldn't be doing that kind of stuff. You don't need to be airing your dirty laundry, you name it. I
Yeah.
heard all the nasty feedback, but I also had some good stories like this one that made it all worthwhile, made every word, and 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 the story could be really long. We don't need to go all there, but so to hear that, I feel relieved that I did
Okay.
the right thing.
See, I love it.
Because if I hadn't spoke up and she didn't hear that day, I mean, she might have someday got to it, but
Maybe.
now she got to it now, and like, why? Like, how can we not be proud of her for that?
I'm definitely proud of her. I'm keeping in contact with her. She gives me updates and stuff like that. She just had her first counseling session, I think, like last week, and she said she takes it one step at a time.
I can do. And the beginning is hard because it's tiring, it's
Yeah.
exhausting.
Right.
Yeah, it's absolutely
So
exhausting.
when you first saw the trailer, okay, that's cool because we talked about that. Especially when we put Maya Angelou in it. He was real excited about that.
It
But when you
was.
watched the whole thing, when you sat down and you watched the whole thing, how'd you feel?
I cried. I flushed. I was touched, and to hear myself speak from another perspective was a little weird. Once I got over being, because I'm camera shy, so um, it wasn't about the camera, of course, but so I mean, I don't mind taking photos. I'm good at that part, but
Oh,
um,
bet. Oh, okay. Okay.
but it's the talking and video talking that made me. I was like, oh no, I don't want to see myself. But I didn't look at me. I listened to me.
Yeah.
I listened to what I was saying, and I listened to and I didn't even notice any of the edits. You mentioned they're going to be edits. I didn't even notice any of that. I heard the story just the way it was meant to be told,
Mhm.
and I I listened to it again, and then I shared it. After as
Awesome.
soon as I watched it, I'm crying like a baby. I'm crying because I was like, oh my god, look what I just did. I was so like I told you, like this flood came out. First, the video just doing it, just having the conversation with you was one. Like But then when I saw it, it was a true purging. Like, like, yeah, it was a really good purging. Like even the next day afterwards, after I did the sharing and watching it, my whole body decided, yeah, we're gonna do some other purging. So it's it was weird, but and uplifting. And that's when things started rolling back in when I started getting feedback and um
That's what I was going to ask you next. I'm going to ask you about that. Like, what were some of the responses that you got and after other people saw it?
the very first person I shared it with, I'm not going to disclose who they were because it's
Got it.
private, but they why didn't you tell me? That's why I wasn't sure I wanted to share that. And
Mm.
then they wanted to talk about it. I was in the middle of a class. I was in the middle of a Bible study class. So I said, let me call you after the class.
Yeah.
And then I had to wait, and I'm thinking, wow, I'm waiting for all kinds of things. And this is somebody that I care about deeply.
Yeah.
And I was worried, like, oh, they're gonna judge me. Like I was ready for the what the heck were you thinking speech, right?
Yeah.
No, they start. So they let me tell my story. So I gave them the quick highlight of what's going to be coming, how I came to this conversation with you, and then I went through the story without, even though I had seen it, I shared the story myself, and then they listened. They didn't say a one word, and
Awesome.
then they started talking, and they're sharing their story, and they are crying. I'm crying. I've never felt so bonded to somebody before in my life.
Mhm.
We're just crying and we're talking and we're sharing about the struggles and we're sharing about how, you know, and there were some similarities, just a few similarities, like the fact that, we were always just so worried about what our parents did and what our parents thought.
Yeah.
That was a really kind of a key point for me, Lou, was not just the having to survive, but the fact that that our parents were just so judgy to us. Like we felt like we were being judged by our parents still, you know? Like, wow. And then I had my daughter calls me on the phone, and one of my best friends called me on the phone. I'm so proud of you. They were so proud. I'm so proud. I'm so proud. They were like they were just exploding with pride.
Awesome.
And so and then I had two people in private text me and say, why did you do it in public? Why are you telling your secrets like that? Nobody needs to know that. Why are you airing your dirty
Right.
laundry? So it was a mixed
Wow.
bag of, right. And, I'm glad that was good for you, but I would never do that. I can't believe you're talking to, the whole world can hear what you had to say. Not the whole world, but,
Yeah.
um, so it was a really interesting mix. And so, but they're entitled to that's how they feel. And then it made me wonder, like, what are they hiding? What are they not telling?
Right.
Obviously I hit a point there somewhere. So I didn't dig. I just let I didn't get mad at the feeling. I was initially like a little hurt,
Mhm.
but you know what? They are experiencing what they need to experience in their own terms. And so, but the fact that they felt comfortable saying that, and then people on the internet, ooh, Lord, they could be brutal.
The people on
They
the internet is
these
that.
little internet warriors, they hide behind their computer and feel they could say anything they want to say,
Mhm.
right? Oh, let me just articulate my anger. Let me put my issue on you, because you're the one brave enough to be out there on video, but I'm just gonna be some little keyboard warrior
Mhm.
making judgments of somebody
Yep.
I've never met.
Yep.
Yeah, those people I just want to smack. I'm not gonna lie. Just let me slap them. Just let me slap them. Just get a life. Just get a life, right? So. And then I saw there was comments from other women and other people. So I commented back, and they were just beautiful comments. They were just so encouraging and um, touching. And so I stay focused on that part. I'm not gonna focus on the nasty ones.
Yeah, forget about the nasty ones. Focus on the good ones. I mean, people gonna say whatever they want. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
I've been through other stuff. Even with my story, I put some out there. I'm doing my story now, and a couple people reached out to me. It was like, okay, right, well, why you want to tell about that? Why you want to tell about this? Well, you don't gotta listen, But I got some good feedbacks by it that, you know, especially like I think it was two people who did the same dumb shit I did, right? when right, I think it was part of my story, right? When I was scared to come home with E's on my report card, and I and it was in black ink, and I took the blue pen and tried to make it a B. Right. Two other people tried that
Okay.
same stuff, right? And I was laughing so hard at it, right? So
That's some real kid stuff, man. That's real life. I, I didn't have to worry about that, but yeah, but I can see I picture that in my head when you're telling that story, because in those days report cards just had these little columns and everything was handwritten in the
oh
old
yeah.
days,
Oh God.
so
Oh my goodness. Kim, all right. Is there anything that you might have like, put like this, the overall factor of it. You told your story, you came out with it, you saw the episode now, and like, you took everything in. Like overall, the whole journey, how you feel about it now? Do you want to share something new? You want to go back to something? The floor is yours on that
thank you. Thank you for that. You know what? This is a weird thing to say. I'm not going back. I'm not doing that anymore. And when I find myself doing it, because it happens all the time, like when I'm in a new situation, I'm trying to get out there and meet people. Yes, community. I'm trying to even date a little bit. So, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going back towards. I'm not going back. I cleaned up the mess. I'm not going back. I might have to revisit it sometimes, but you know what? No, it doesn't mean I don't want to talk about it because I will. But
one.
I feel like I've spent the story,
Mhm.
and now I can breathe because I haven't been able to breathe in so long.
I love it.
Just breathe. Um, I did something great for myself. I'm really proud of me. So I finally got myself into a YMCA, and I actually signed up
Mhm.
and got into a pool, the lap pool, so I can walk, right?
Yep.
Walking back and forth because my knees are shot and they hurt like crazy. And I have degenerated disc in my lower back, so everything hurts when I walk.
Got it.
So the doctor's like, get in the pool. I'm
Mhm.
like, I can get in the pool. He's like, get in the pool.
Get the pool.
So, and I went like 3 times my very first week. I was like, and I was so tired on the third day, I didn't want to go. I'm like, I don't want to go. I don't
You
want
gotta
to
go.
go.
You
Oh, I
gotta
could just, and then in my
go.
head for like 10 seconds, I go, oh, you can go tomorrow. You can go the next day. I'm like, no, you cannot. No, you're not going back. Right. And then I told a friend about this, and they're like, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's
Do it.
do this. Right. So, and they don't mind that I am, they don't have an issue with my size, but they're like just want to do what I feel is best for me, right? And then
Okay.
I also got brave enough and I applied for a promotion at work, and I just found out that I made the shortcut, so I'll find out how that goes, like from 60 people down to like 7 people.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'm all right
Okay.
on. So
Big things happening for Kim. Big. I love it. I love it. Come on.
right,
Come on.
good things, and then how to, and then I found out how to cut a few people from my life that I was talking to, and
Yeah.
they were interested in romantic things, and I'm like, no, you're not for me. You're not for me.
I love it. I love it.
That was new for me, Lou. I would like entertain that I would entertain somebody who wasn't for me just because I wanted the attention or I wanted to be loved. No way, Jose, not doing it anymore.
Love it. I love it. Now that
No.
leads me to my bonus question for you. Not the game. We gotta wait a little bit for that. Recently I have asked people uh what are their opinions about dating today as a woman? Like, what is your overall opinion? You can be totally honest
That's a good
about
question.
today's dating age.
You know what? That's a good question. There's some pluses and minuses since when I dated when I was in my 20s compared to now, right? So
Mhm.
40 years different. Back in those days, I met everyone organically in person, right?
Yep.
We knew the parents, we knew the brother, the sister. Somehow we knew who they were, right? You went to college with them, you went to school with them, they were so and so's cousin. So you had this. So now in modern times, so that's one of the. I'm going to cover 3 different areas. So and the other one now. So now I'm meeting people online. That's how I've met everyone that I've talked to so far,
Mhm.
and now that's bringing people from all over the country. And so you're like, do I really want to talk to somebody who's far away? Like, what's the possibility of that? So now you have different questions to ask. But
Mhm.
I also found that in this age, because I'm a mature person, so I'm dating more mature that we've all been married or divorced, or we've been through some stuff.
Gotcha.
That their um, they're hesitant to take action.
How
They
so?
want to talk the talk, but they don't want to walk the walk. Like oh, I want to
Oh,
talk to you, baby, 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 but like make a plan, make a date. Nope, they want to keep on talking. I'm like, no, I don't want to keep talking.
okay.
Make a plan. When am I going to see you? When are we? Let's just meet for coffee. Like they're afraid to take that little jump. Like they're so hesitant. And I
Okay.
think it's because and when you talk about I've been hurt. I just want to take things slow. I've been hurt. I want to take things slow. Okay, I hear you. Take things slow. It is right. And then the other thing that I found there's a lot of younger studs that want to just oh
Mm,
Lord, they just want to have sex. I'm gonna be straight.
go ahead.
They're chasing. They think it's cool to date older women. Oh yeah, they did. They'll say all the talk. They don't care about you. They just want to get with you, if you know what I mean. Like, no, thank you. So you have to decipher that. Um, but the thing that was the hardest is the organic meeting versus now you have to get out there and
Yeah.
how am I going to meet somebody? Like you have to put yourself in a different situation. So, but there's some things that's still the same. Believe it or not, there are very, very, very nice people, men who are gentlemen. You know, they open the door, they
Mhm.
offer to pay for the date.
Okay.
They follow up after the date if they like you.
Oh.
Maybe they bring flowers. Maybe they send you flowers. There's still some of that. I love chivalry, and it's not dead. And I reciprocate. I make sure I reciprocate that energy. So there are still men that love women, right? They're not intimidated at all by anything. So whatever they've been through, so you just
Mhm.
have to ask really good questions from the gate. It also amazes me that before we ever meet for coffee,
Yeah.
somebody already knows my credit score, how many kids I have, step kids, where I went to high school, like where do I live, what kind of house am I in, who's
Oh.
here with me, like the questions that come, like they know the whole story and we haven't even met for coffee yet.
Wow. Wow.
That part is the biggest change. Like it kind of takes the fun out of dating.
It's a stage of the internet. Kim,
hmm
that's a good answer. I appreciate that one. And you know what? I'm gonna get to my last part right before we wrap it up. We played the first time we was on, right? We played like, pick and choose random questions, right? Where you had like 15 questions and in 90 seconds, no time limit. These are threes. I'm gonna call them the threes. Okay.
Okay.
Now you can take your time on this one, but I want you to think about it, right? It's only three questions. That's all it
Mm-hmm.
is. You ready for it? Sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What is your favorite thing about yourself?
That I'm very loving no matter what. No matter what, no matter what. I keep on loving.
I like that. I like that one. This should be interesting right here. Okay. If you can tell your younger self any one thing, what would that be?
Oh, Lord.
Just think about it. You tell your younger self one thing. You only got one thing to tell your younger self. What would that be?
Um, See, and my competitive nature just went, dang it. Like,
Mhm.
um, if I seriously, I would say at this moment, my answer is this. I might change my mind later, but right now,
Okay.
to love yourself always, no matter what, that I'm worth it, that I'm worthy, and I'm lovable. I didn't know those words when I was a young adult, a young soul. I didn't know I was lovable.
And look at you now. Look at you now.
No, I'm blushing.
Ah, now, this is the last one. This is a good one. I actually like this one. Could you date yourself?
Yes. Yeah.
Why?
Because I'm fun. I'm good. I am got myself together. I have a good job. My life is in order. I have a few things to work on. So who doesn't? So if I can accept me, I can accept you, right?
Mhm.
So the one thing, my next thing is my teeth. I'm making my teeth worked on. But
Well,
other than
we all
that,
gotta get that done. Trust me, I do the same thing.
right? But other than that, I think I'm very. I would date me.
Hey, so-
I'm kind of fun. I'm lovable. I'm likable. I have a big heart. I'm not here to play around. I'm not a player, so don't want to be a player. I'm dating with the intention of having a long-term relationship with this one person. So absolutely, that would date me.
Awesome,
That's a good
awesome.
question. That's a really good question.
Yes, 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 yes. The threes, baby, the threes.
I can say I date myself. That's how
It
you
got
know
you.
if you're ready, if you would say yes or no. I think now you got me think about that question. Well,
Uh-huh. It got you thinking, don't it?
that's a test.
No, 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 but you know what it is? Like, I can tell you right now, a lot of people don't ask people questions. A lot of people don't communicate. You know, like, oh God, I can tell you, back in the day, man, I used to ask people questions like that. They'd be like, "Damn, what?" And you had to think, like, "Oh shit, like that. I gotta think, like, like that, like." It's crazy. It's something fun, something good. Get you to think a little bit. Find out more about you, where you at, the queen that you are today for you.
I don't even remember that question now. I love it.
You
Date
like
me.
that, huh?
Hmm.
Well, you could take it. Kim, is there anything you want to say finally to everybody at the on this recap show from the beginning to now, and maybe somebody will see this, like they haven't really brought it out yet. You got a message for anybody?
You know what? Thank you. First of all, thank you for the platform and letting me share my story. Let me brag a little. Let me cry a little.
Sure.
um, that whether you're male or female, because I know some men have watched this as well.
Yes.
You know what? That our trauma doesn't define who we are. It's having to survive whatever the trauma is. Isn't doesn't mean that we're not good enough, that we're not smart enough, that we're not whatever enough, because we are enough. The trauma doesn't mean that we're not enough. The trauma is something that we didn't do, somebody else did to us, that we had to survive, right? We had to be stronger and more. So it's okay to acknowledge that you had to experience some kind of trauma or whatever it is, whether it's being molested, whether it's being raped, whether it's being neglected, ignored, um, I know people who have been like physically abused, but not sexually abused. Like, their parents burned them with cigarette, whatever the situation is, right? With anger and all kinds of other awful things being thrown at them, being told bad words, that you're never going to be good enough, all that stuff. That is a reflection of the person that was doing the abusing. It's not a reflection of us.
That's well
Don't
said.
forget that it's not a reflection of us, it's a reflection of them.
That's well said, Kim.
And by the way, your editor rocks. Just sorry,
Oh,
put
Mark.
that out.
Oh, Mark. Yeah, Mark. Yeah. He does a good job with all this stuff. Does a good job.
Thank you,
Well,
Mark.
Kim, thank you so much for coming on. You know what I mean? Like, no, I have something planned for the future for you to come back on. You'll love it. Trust me.
Want to study for these questions? No.
Oh God, no more questions for you. Okay, Kim, thank you so much. Everybody, thank you so much for enjoying this recap with Kim. Go check out the episode on my YouTube channel. Click on the bio or on my Instagram or TikTok. Go on YouTube. Watch this amazing episode. You're going to love it. She is the best. She tells her whole brave story. She is the queen today. See you next week. Peace.